Hi friends, welcome to my channel, The Yarn Addict. My name is Juan. I'm also known as Juan the Yarn Addict, and I want to welcome each and every one of you guys to my video today. Thank you for stopping by. I hope you guys are all doing well and staying safe. So today I offer you a tutorial. So the tutorial that I'm offering you today is for the Popcorn Truffle Scarf. This scarf was showcased in one of my latest videos where my 5K milestone winner was given the option of choosing a colorway within the Lion Brand Scarfy line. And the colorway she chose was Wine Truffle. And so once she chose her colorway, I went ahead and designed a pattern for this particular scarf. And so here we are. We're going to do the tutorial. I hope you enjoy it. It's very easy. It's a 6-row repeat. And for the purposes of this tutorial, I'm actually going to be working with a cream color yarn 4-weight with a 6mm hook. If you decide to use a 5-weight yarn, which is what the Scarfy brand of yarns are, I would recommend that you follow the labeling instructions and go with a 6.5mm hook, which is a K. So it's just for purposes of draping and everything. So just follow the labeling instructions for whatever yarn you choose. You can use whatever weight yarn you'd like. Highly recommend that you follow the label suggestions for the hook choice. So without further ado, let's jump right into it. Hi friends, so as I stated before, I'm going to be using 4-weight yarn for this tutorial. This here is Caron 1 pound in the colorway Off-White, which is a 4-weight yarn. And I will be using a 6mm J hook for this tutorial. So what you want to do is you want to start off with a slip knot on your hook. Just like that. However you do it is fine, as long as you get here. Next, what you want to do is you want to chain 4. 1, 2, 3, and 4. After you chain 4, what you want to do is you want to slip stitch into your first chain. So insert your hook and create a little slip there, and you will find that you'll have a magic circle. So now what you want to do is you want to chain 2, which will not be a part of anything. It's just for growth. So now what you want to do, I like to hold on to my tail. I line it up with the chain like this. What you want to do now is you want to do 4 double crochets into that circle. So 1, 2, 3, and 4. Now what you want to do is you want to chain 2, and then you want to go back into that magic circle with 4 more double crochets. Oops, lost that stitch. 2, 3, and 4. So that's what that should look like after row 1. You have a little chain 2, which doesn't count towards anything, 4 double crochets, chain 2, 4 double crochets. So one thing that I will tell you is at the end of every row, you are going to chain 2, and it will not be a part of anything. It's just to grow your scarf out. Okay? So now that we've ended row 1 here, we're going to chain 2. We're going to turn our work. Okay, so now what we want to do is we actually want to do front post double crochets for row 2. So what I will tell you is the first stitch and the last stitch are your growth stitches. So in those stitches, they will never be part of the pattern. Every row, they get 3 stitches, regardless if it's a single, a double, half double, doesn't matter. 3 stitches in the first one, 3 stitches in the last one. So since we're doing front post double crochets for row 2, we're going to do 3 double crochets in this very first stitch here. So 1, 2, and 3. Okay. Now what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and do our front post double crochets in these 3 stitches here. So wrap your hook, insert behind and around the stitch, grab your yarn, loop over, go through 2, wrap over, and then go through 2. And then you're going to repeat that 2 more times. Just like this. Okay, it looks a little wonky, but don't worry. It gets corrected in the details later. So now after you've done your 3 front post double crochets, what you want to do is you want to do a double crochet in the corner here, chain 2, and then double crochet. Just like that. And now what you want to do is 3 more front post double crochets in the next 3 stitches. So 1, 2, and 3. So there's 3. You have 3 on this side, you have 3 on this side. And then finally, you have 1 stitch left here, right here at the end. And in that stitch there, you want to put 3 double crochets into that stitch. 1, 2, and 3. And that completes row 2. Okay, so now we're going to move on to row 3. So let's go ahead and chain 2 and turn our work. If you notice, we have a little ridge starting here, which looks great. Love that. And what we're going to do now is we are going to do what I like to call windows. So the windows, it's going to be a double crochet, chain 1, skip 1, double crochet. So this is the windows row. And the windows row gets a double crochet. So now what we want to do is in this very first stitch, as I mentioned before, it gets 3 stitches of whatever the stitch is. So this row gets double crochets. So we're going to insert 3 double crochets into this first stitch. Just like that. And now what we want to do is we want to chain 1 and skip 1 and then put a double crochet in the next stitch right here. Just like that. Okay. Let me grab some more yarn here. Okay. And we want to continue doing that until we reach the top here. The top here I call the apex, which is the top of a triangle here. So just continue doing that until we get to the top. Double crochet, chain 1, skip 1, double crochet. Now, obviously there's nothing to skip to, right? So now what we want to do is we want to put a double crochet into the apex there, chain 2, put another double crochet on the other side. So one thing I'll tell you is whatever you do on this side, you're going to do on this side, and it's going to match. Okay, so right after, you're going to put another double crochet here, just like that, because you had 2 back to back without any chains. So you're on this side, so you're going to do that to this side, so it's equal. Okay, and then now what you want to do is you want to chain 1 and you want to skip 1. You're going to skip this stitch and you're going to go into that stitch, just like that. Chain 1 and skip 1, chain 1 and skip 1, but see, that's going to go right into your last stitch here, which is fine. This last stitch here is just going to get 3 double crochets. 1, 2, and 3. And so that, my friends, ends round 3. And if you notice, it's very equal on both sides. So you have 2 side by side, 2 separated, and then your 3 double crochets here on the ends. Okay? So now what we want to do is for row 4, what we want to do is we want to do half double crochets. Okay? So we're going to chain 2 like always, because the chain 2s do not count. They're actually just for growth. And we're going to turn our work. All right? And in this first stitch, what we want to do is put in 3 half double crochets. 1, 2, and 3, just like that. And if I'm going too fast, just hit the gear button to slow me down. Okay? So now what we want to do is we want to put a half double crochet in every stitch up until we get to the apex up here, right here. Okay, so half double crochet in the next 2 stitches, 1 and 2, just like that. And then in the chain space here, you want to do a double crochet. A half double crochet, just like that. And then in the stitch, half double crochet. And then in the chain space, half double crochet. And then you just want to continue doing that all the way up until you get to the apex. And then once you get to the corner here, just do 1 half double, chain 2, and another half double. And then you want to continue doing what you did on this side over here. So half double crochet in the next stitch, and in the next one, and then you've arrived at a chain space, so you want to do a half double crochet here. And then here at the stitch, half double, chain space, half double, the stitch gets a half double, the chain space gets a half double, and then you have 3, 2, and then here's the last stitch right here. In the last stitch, you do, just as you did on this side here, 3 half double crochets. 1, 2, and 3. So that, my friends, ends round 4. Okay? So let's do our 2 chains and turn our work for round 5. Now, round 5 is going to be our popcorn stitch. So to do that, first what we need to do is do our 3 double crochets in the first stitch here. So let's just do the double crochets, 1, 2, and 3, just like that. And now what we want to do is we want to chain 1 and skip 1, and then in this next stitch right here, we want to do a popcorn stitch, which consists of 5 double crochets in this very stitch right here where my hook is. Okay, so we're going to go in 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Now what we want to do is create a bunny ear, just like that. Take the head of our hook and go back into that very first stitch. Okay, right there. And go back into the bunny ear. Give the bunny ear some tension, and then go back and loop through that very first stitch. Chain to lock it, chain to move on. So it's going to look like that. Okay. So we've already chained 1 to move on. Now we just need to skip this stitch right here. We're going to jump into this one and give this stitch right here 5 double crochets. It's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Go back into your first double crochet go into your bunny ear, pull the tension, and then slip through your first stitch there. Chain to lock it, chain to move on. And it's a perfect fit. Okay, so we're going to repeat that, and I will meet you at the apex up here. Okay. Okay, so you should have 5 popcorns on your one side here. And so what you want to do, just take a look here. If you were to skip this particular stitch right here, it would mean you'd have to put a popcorn in the apex, and you don't want to do that. So after you've chained one to lock and chained one to move on, what you want to do is you want to do a double crochet in the apex up at the top here. And then what you want to do is chain 2 and then give the apex another double crochet just like that. And you want to chain 1 because that's what happens on this side. Before you came into the top, you chained 1 to move. So here you're going to chain 1 and you're going to skip this stitch and you're going to insert your hook into that stitch. So it's the second one here, and give that stitch right here, the stitch number 2, 5 double crochets for your popcorn. So it's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Bunny ear, go back into your first stitch, and then pull and pull, chain to lock, chain to move on, and then continue down the side here with your chain 1, skip 1, popcorn, chain 1, skip 1, popcorn. Okay, and I will meet you down here at the end. Okay, so we are at the end of the row here. So you should have 5 popcorns on either side. You should have a chain 2 in between 2 double crochets. And don't worry if it's not as pointed as you'd like. It will work itself out. And so yeah, that is what that looks like. It's pretty awesome there. So that's the end of row 5, and what we want to do now to go into row 6 is we want to chain 2 for the growth, turn our work, and we want to go back in here, and it's going to be half double crochets here. So in this first stitch here, we're going to do a half double crochet times 3. So we want 3 half doubles here in the very first stitch, just like that. And then in every stitch, we want a half double. And in every chain space, we want a half double. And also inside of every popcorn, you want to go right into that hole there and come out at the top of the popcorn just like that. Grab. Actually, we need the wrap first. Okay. Half double crochet, and then go into the chain space, half double, into your popcorn and up through the center, just like that. And then in your chain space. And this process is the same all the way up throughout your project. When you're on this particular row with half doubles and you're going into your popcorns, you want to make sure that you're going inside the popcorn and up through the top. Just like that. And don't get discouraged if it snags on something. It's perfectly fine. But you want to do half double crochets all the way up until you get to the apex of your scarf here. So that one was a chain. So now this is a double crochet down here. We're going to do a half double. And then now we're at the corner of the apex. So that's what the side should look like. You're going to chain 2, insert another half double crochet, just like that. Go into the stitch with a half double, go into the chain space with a half double, and then you're going to repeat this process all the way down, making sure that when you go into the popcorn, you're going in through the center underneath. Wrap your hook and pull down carefully, and it should look like that. Do one more, just like that. Okay, so go ahead and complete the rest of this row, and I will meet you down here at the end. Okay, friends, so I've reached the end of row 6, and what we want to do is chain 2 and turn our work. Just give the apex a little pinch. Just give this a little tug. Okay, and so this is what it's looking like as of right now. So just for an update in terms of like stitch count, you should have 18 stitches on either side, because you're 6 rows in and you increase by 3 on every end. So 6 times 3 is 18. So you should have 18 stitches on either side all the way down. Okay? So this is the pattern. So we have a double crochet, and then we flip it, and then we do a front post, windows, half double, popcorn, half double. Okay, so I mean the front post just gives it the ridges, which is really nice, and then the windows kind of gives it some air, because otherwise it'd be very heavy. If you choose to not do the windows there, you can put whatever you want. Doesn't matter. I just recommend that because it gives it a nice little look of dimension. But in either case, so now what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and repeat this. But I do want to tell you that for this particular scarf, you're going to repeat this exact pattern 7 times. This repeats 7 times, and at the end of the 7th repeat, this should measure 6 feet, and this should measure 2 feet, or just over 2 feet. And that's the dimension. So it's not a perfect triangle, it's an elongated triangle, meant to be worn more as a scarf than a shawl, but of course you can wear it however you want. So I'm just going to give you a brief summary of each row of the next set of repeats, and then I will send you on your way with some final thoughts and all those good things. So to start row 7, as the pattern already suggests, we're going to go ahead and do a row of double crochets. So in the first stitch here, we're going to go in and we're going to give the very first stitch 3 double crochets. 1, 2, and 3. And then we're going to go ahead and do double crochets all the way down until we get to the apex. I'll see you there. Okay, so we're at the top here, and we're going to insert a double crochet in the chain space, and you should have 21 double crochets. Remember, row 7 times 3. If you ever get lost on a stitch count, just multiply the row number by 3. So 21 stitches is what we have here. We're going to chain 2. We're going to go back into the top here with another double crochet, just like that. And then we're going to insert a double crochet into all of these stitches here until we get down to the very last one, and we're going to insert 3 for a total of 21 double crochets. I'll see you at the end. Okay, so I'm at the end of row 7, and sometimes you'll come across this where your last stitch looks so small, and that's okay. Just make sure, if you're not sure if you should go into it or not, just, count your rows up and then multiply by 3 and then count your stitches. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. And I should have 21, so that means I have to insert 3 more double crochets in that last stitch there. So Just insert your hook, making sure that you get both sides. So let's go in there. A little tough, but that's fine. And then insert 3 double crochets in that last stitch. And that concludes row 7. Okay, just like that. So the next row is going to be front post double crochets. So before we get to row 8, what we need to do is chain 2 and turn our work. And in the first stitch, what we're going to do is 3 double crochets. 1, 2, and 3, just like that. And now we're going to go into our stitches. So wrap your hook, go back and around just like that, and then perform your double crochet just like that. Let's go again. Go in, back, and around. Perform your double crochet just like that. One more time. Wrap your hook, go in and around the stitch, grab your yarn, come back through, loop over, go through 2, go through 2. And then you want to continue doing that all the way down until you get to your apex. And I will meet you there, up here. Okay? And you should have 24 front post, or I'm sorry, 24 total stitches for this side of row 8. Okay? I'll meet you up here. Okay, friends, so on this side here, you should have 24 total stitches, beginning with the 3, and then going up, and also including the one in the top here, the apex. So 24 stitches, and if it curls, that's fine. The more you work it, the more it will work itself out. You just want to make sure that all your stitches are correct. Okay, so chain 2, insert another double crochet at the top there, like so, like that, and then we're going to get right into the front post double crochets. Just go like that. It takes some getting used to, but once you get the hang of it, it's very, very easy. For me, it's the back post double crochets that are a bit much sometimes. So just continue doing that, and I will meet you down here at the end. Okay, so I've just completed 21 stitches on this side, and I have that one stitch right here left. So we're going to insert 3 double crochets in that last stitch. Just make sure that you pick up 2 sides, the front and the back there. And you're going to insert a total of 3 double crochets there, 2 and 3, just like that. Chain 2, and turn your work. It's looking nice, guys. Look at that. I can't, it's amazing. Okay, sorry. Okay, we're gonna start row 9. So remember, take the number, times it by 3, and that's how many stitches you should have. So row 9 times 3 is 27 total stitches. So for this particular stitch, in case you ever get lost, just look back down here. You did a ridge here. Here's your ridge. Okay, so the next one is going to be windows. So in the first stitch here, and by the way, the windows that I have are all double crochet windows. So in the first stitch, we're going to do 3 double crochets. 1, 2, and 3, just like that. Then we're going to chain 1 and skip 1 and go right into this next stitch here. Chain 1, skip, double crochet right into that next one, just like that. Chain 1, skip, go into that next stitch, just like that. Continue on, and I will meet you at the top here. Okay guys, so I completed the one side here of row 9, and you should have a total of 27 stitches. Now 15 of those stitches are going to be double crochets, and the remainder will be chains. So 15, right? So 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. And then they're going to circle back 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27. So 27 total stitches along the side here. Now what we're going to do, chain 2, I've already done that. Go back into the top here with a double crochet. Okay, and then you're going to chain 1 and skip 1, because that's the last thing that happened over here before we got to the corner, or to the apex here. So we're going to mimic that. So chain 1, skip 1, and go right into the next stitch here. Just like that. Chain 1, and then skip, go right into that next one, just like that. Chain 1 and skip, insert a double crochet. All right, continue on with that, and I will meet you at the end of row 9. Okay, friends, so I've just completed row 9, and again, 27 stitches on this side, including the chains. The chains will count as a stitch. So you have 15 double crochets, and you have 12 chain spaces. Okay, so now what we want to do is we want to chain 2 and turn our work. Okay, and so this next row here, and let me just flip it over. So after the windows, we're going to do half double crochets. Okay, so for row 10, 10 times 3 is 30, so you're going to need 30 half double crochets all the way from the corner to the apex, which is the top of our triangle here. So the first stitch right there, right here, you're going to insert 3 half double crochets. 1, 2, 3. And you're going to continue inserting half double crochets in all of your stitches and under your chain spaces. In your stitch, under your chain space. In your stitch, under your chain space. Just like that. It's very simple. And continue on doing that, and I will meet you at the top here, at the apex. Okay, so here I am at the top. I have a total of 30 half double crochets there. Okay, so next we want to make sure that we chain 2. Let me just backtrack to make sure. I only had 1 there, so we're going to chain. Actually, I did have 2. Okay, chain 2, and then half double back into the top there, and then go right into that stitch right there with a half double, and you're going to do the same thing all the way down. So I went into a stitch. Now we want to go into a chain space, into a stitch, into a chain space. We just want to do that all the way. Just continue doing that, and I will meet you at the end of row 10. Okay, so I've reached the end of row 10, and you just want to make sure that you chain 2 and turn your work. Okay, this is how our scarf is looking so far. Very nice. Okay, and now if we look down here, we had a row of half doubles here. The next row here is our popcorn row. So row 11 is our popcorn row. And what we want to do to start off, as always, we're going to insert 3 double crochets in our first stitch here. 1, 2, and 3. Now what we want to do is we want to chain 1 and skip 1. And we want to insert our hook into the stitch following that skip with 5 double crochets. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Create a bunny ear, go into that first stitch, loop your hook around the ear, pull for tension, tighten it up, chain to lock, chain to move on. And then you're going to skip this very next stitch, and then you're going to do the same thing, add a popcorn into the very next stitch after that. So 5 double crochets. 3, 4, 5. Bunny ear, go into the first stitch, loop your hook around the bunny ear, pull it through, chain 1 to lock, chain 1 to move on. And you're going to continue this. I'm going to do this next one with you. So skip this stitch and we're going to go right into this one. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Oops. Bunny ear, and then we're going to go into the first double crochet, go into our bunny ear, pull for tension. Going to slip through that very first double crochet like that, and then loop to lock, then loop to move on. Okay, so there's 3 so far, guys. Continue that pattern all the way up until we get up to the apex, and I'll meet you right up here. Okay? Okay, so here we are. I've done the one side of this particular row here, and let's go ahead and count the popcorns. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, and I'm going to chain and skip. So we're going to do a double crochet right in the top there. Your last popcorn, you had a chain to lock and a chain to move on, and you skipped. So that's literally all you had room for here. So now you just want to chain 2, and you want to double crochet, and then like this side here, you chained 1, right? So over here we're going to double crochet and then chain 1 and skip 1. This right here doesn't count towards anything. Ignore that. That is your stitch. So we're going to skip that, and we're going to move on to this particular stitch right here. And we're going to insert our hook and do 5 double crochets right into that stitch, if I can manage to keep it on my hook. There we go. 2, 3, 4, 5. Bunny ear, go into the first stitch, grab the bunny ear, tension, go through, chain to lock, chain to move on. We're going to skip 1 and put another popcorn in the next stitch after we skip that one right there. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Okay, bunny ear, go in, chain 1 to lock, chain 1 to move on. Okay, and now what we want to do is continue on, and I will meet you down here. All right. Okay, friends, so I just finished row 11. I backed up the camera a little bit because we're growing here. So for row 11, I failed to mention in the beginning, if I failed, there should be 14 popcorns along each side here. 14. And then of course your 3 stitches at the beginning and at the end. And then at the top here you should have a double crochet, chain 2, double crochet. So that is row 11. So at the end of row 11, as is with the end of every row, what we want to do is chain 2 and turn our work for the last row of the second repeat here. So this is the half double crochet. So in the first stitch, half double crochet, you're going to do 3 of them. Three. Then half double crochet in the next stitch. Wherever there's a stitch, you're going to do a half double crochet. Wherever there's a chain space, you're going to do a half double crochet. I'm sorry if I misspoke earlier. It's all half double crochets along the entire row. Now in your popcorns, you're going to make sure to go in and up through the center. Just like that. And go through all of them. And then in your chain space, do a half double crochet. And then the pattern just kind of repeats itself where you're going in the popcorn and then in the chain space, in the popcorn, in the chain space. Like so, like that. It goes pretty quickly, these half double crochet rows. That's why I threw them in there. Because as the scarf grows, I mean, the popcorn row takes a little while to get through because you're doing 5 double crochets in each popcorn. So to make it go a little faster, I did 2 rows of half double crochets, one before and one after, to kind of balance it speed-wise. And it seems to be going quite well. So we're just going to go ahead and do that. I only have a little bit of ways. I'm not even going to pause. Let's just keep going. Go for the gusto here. Okay. Let's get that. Okay, perfect. I have a tendency of talking to myself sometimes. I do apologize. It's part of my process here. Okay. Half double crochet in that stitch right there. And then here we are at the apex, otherwise known as the corner of the triangle there. So we're going to do a half double inside there, chain 2, and then half double back into that chain space. Just like that. Then we're going to do a half double into the first stitch, and then a half double into the chain space, and then a half double in the popcorn. Let's get in there. There we go. Just like that. And then you're just going to continue on, and I will meet you down at the bottom here at the end of row 12. I shall see you in a minute. Okay, friends, so I just finished row 12, and this is kind of what it looks like. It's okay if it curves, it's fine, it's part of the process. Again, if you noticed, see how this is flat here? It will actually flatten out as you work your scarf. It's just part of the process. And for your little tail here, I always like to yank on the tail. It makes it tighter, and then I just take a pair of shears and I trim. Just like that. Perfect. So this is 2 complete repeats of the pattern. You're going to repeat this pattern 7 times for a total of 42 rows, or when it measures 6 feet long. And that's kind of the guiding point there, okay? And then the finished product, let me just grab this one here. This is what the finished product should look like when it's all done. It looks so good. I'm in love with this. It's amazing. Yes, so that's kind of what it should look like. This exact one was actually done, obviously, with Scarfy yarn, but I used a 7mm crochet hook because that's what the label called for. And it worked out perfectly. The drape is perfect. The popcorns look amazing. The stitch definition is amazing. And so yes, you want to repeat this 7 times to complete the scarf. Okay, so I am going to bring us up out of tutorial mode and give you guys some last thoughts and things like that. 1 second. Okay, so we just completed the tutorial for the Popcorn Truffle Scarf. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Again, this is kind of what you want it to look like, regardless of the yarn that you use. This is kind of the pattern you want it to look like. Yes, I'm absolutely in love with this. My 5K winner, I'm sure, will absolutely love this as well. I've gotten asked how to fold these scarves, so I'm just kind of I'm going to give you some my way. So I fold it in half like this with the point down at the bottom, and then I bring this over just like this, and then I take the point and I bring it just up to here, and then I fold it in half, and that's how I fold and pack away the scarves. So there's that. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this tutorial. It was a pleasure making this tutorial for you guys. Anytime you guys want to see a tutorial on something, just send me an email at hookcreations123@gmail.com, or sound off in the comments of one of my videos. I am notified when you guys comment, so if you haven't noticed, I do check them all the time. So thank you guys for watching. If you enjoyed this, feel free to hit like, subscribe to my channel if you haven't already subscribed, and then of course hit the notifications to stay updated with me and my channel. Once again, it's been a pleasure, and until the next time, take care, guys.